player. Jason, I couldn't believe, like, you did hit me with it. I couldn't believe we didn't use it last week with Black Adam, so we had to bring it back.
I appreciate that. I sang this to my co-teacher this week because we do a skit every day based on my random word of the day. And he, at the end of the skit, he's like, all right, fine, if you're going to do that, I'm leaving. And I got down on one knee and I sang, baby, come back, to get him back in the room.
Did Walter see Black Adam?
No, not yet.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, he just thought that was randomly pulling that song.
Nice. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea. We are at episode 84. Of this one.
Man, milestones are. This isn't a milestone, but milestones are coming.
They are coming.
I'm just saying, Farachi, when are we getting word on our big 100th bash at PCP Mansion?
When Tim jumps out of the cake, right?
Right, exactly. He's dressed as the Hulk, and then he smashes it.
I like it. Yeah, thanks for joining us as always. We're back on a Wednesday night at 8:30, so the world is right again.
It feels like coming home.
It really does. That's what the baby come back really means.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube or Twitter, Instagram, wherever you found your audio-only podcast, we always appreciate all the support. And with me, as always, is Jason. Jason, what's up?
How's it going? Good to be here. I'm gonna take full responsibility for Monday, guys. I did something I never do, is I just forgot to watch the shows that I was on the hook for. But as you guys know, even despite the fact I'm a staunch devout atheist, I like to do penance like I'm in Catholic school. So I gave myself a little penance work to make up for the fact that I forgot to watch it, and I watched 2 extra DC cartoons that even Ed himself has not seen, that I'm going to give a spoiler-free review of. So the first is Catwoman Hunted, which features everyone's favorite anti-hero in the DC universe, or at least mine, Catwoman, who is pretty much Rob's. All right, I'm going to stop right there. We get Tobias Whale. I should just stop there. Tobias Whale is in this movie.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And Black Skull is in this movie. He's trying to get into the Tobias Whale Leviathan. That God, I remember. I just watched it last night. And so we get Batwoman in this. We get Catwoman kind of trying to do some sexy seduction of Batwoman to get her way. And I'm going to end it there. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but this is I really enjoyed it, and it was anime style, which I'm not huge on.
Mm-hmm.
But the story of this, the writing was super cool. It's got some cool jazz. The art is good. I'm 100% saying to give Catwoman Hunted a watch. And then the second one that I'm going to review real quick is Green Lantern Beware My Power. And I don't know if I've said this on the show, but I'm going to say it now. John Stewart is my Green Lantern. Like, Hal Jordan is not my Green Lantern.
Okay.
Because I got into DC way late. I was into Marvel as a kid. I got into DC through Batman when I was in junior high school and high school. And in particular, I got into DC through the Justice League cartoon that followed Batman the Animated Series, which featured John Stewart as the Green Lantern. So I get everyone's love for Hal Jordan, but I'm a John Stewart guy, and this is John Stewart getting the Green Lantern powers and like going to Oa and doing Sinestros there. All sorts of crazy space shit is happening. Thanagarians show up. So 100%, if you like crazy Green Lantern stuff, and if you're a big John Stewart guy, big thumbs up. Great movies.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, I heard of Catwoman. Was it Hunted? I didn't get a chance to watch that one yet, but the Green Lantern one, we were talking before we went on. I didn't even hear of it yet, so I mean, I'm excited to check that one out because I actually stumbled upon the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern weekends, and I had to watch it for like 5 minutes, and then that was all I could take. Then I just had to keep it moving.
And now that you've brought that up, you know that we're gonna have to do that eventually.
No, it's gonna happen sooner or later. Maybe as a lead up to the next Deadpool. Maybe we'll just throw it in there.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Actually, that's a good place for it because when else is it going to come up?
Yeah, because I mean, I have a feeling that's going to definitely be out before the Green Lantern TV series on HBO Max comes out, because
Yes,
that just went pretty much back to formula.
right.
Yes, there's a nice Spider-Man drop in there. So it went back to formula because they were like, they was centered around multiple Green Lanterns, and now it's going to be centered around John Stewart. So
Which
I
I'm
got to
in for.
imagine it's going to take a while.
And look, hashtag Diggle Lantern. I'm just saying, you set it up.
Let's don't get me started with that shit again.
I know.
That's the ultimate like tease like of all time that we're never. I still don't know if we're going to get that.
No, I know we're not. What are they going to give us on the last 5 episodes of the shitty Flash season coming up? I mean, it's all that's left. I mean, you know, they're not going to do that to Superman and Lois. I mean, let's just keep hoping they forget Superman and Lois is a comic book property, so they don't cancel it.
Yeah, we got to have some more to talk about that shortly. But there were two pieces of information I just wanted to just throw out there was so that Agatha Harkness. House of Chaos or whatever. I know it was originally going to be House of Harkness. They actually casted Aubrey Plaza just about an hour or two ago. The news broke as the villain.
Wow!
So I thought that was pretty interesting, especially she was on Legion. For anyone who watched Legion on FX,
how was she on that?
She was Shadow King.
Okay, was she good in that?
She was good in that. I like her. She was good in that, and I gave up on the show though because the show was too out there for me. Okay. Yes, and I watched Doom Patrol. Legion was too out there for me.
That says something. I've got this weird thing with Aubrey Plaza, which I have a huge crush on her because that's very much my type. But I also have only seen her in Parks and Rec, which I loved her on, and a movie called Looking for a Companion to Time Travel with or something like that. It's something stupid like that. Okay. And she just struck me as the exact same character. So I'm never sure if she can act or not.
Wow. So I can't. I'm gonna suggest this to you right now. So if you are looking for a show, maybe you should watch Legion then.
Maybe I will. Maybe
it's definitely on Hulu. I'm sure it's on Hulu.
Okay. I'm gonna look for Legion. Let me check that out because I don't mind weird shit, especially if I have a celebrity crush in it.
No, it definitely helps, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a bit. I remember I had watched the season 2 premiere, and I just sat down like 10 minutes afterwards. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What is going on right now?
Wow.
I actually don't know.
It's hard to lose you. I mean, you stuck with some crazy bad stuff.
I have, and that's why it was so shocking. But there are some people who liked Legion, so
all right.
Maybe it was just me. I will admit that maybe it was just me. Maybe my expectations were I was searching and looking for any hint of X-Men anything, and then when it was revealed that she was the Shadow King, I was so giddy. And there's also a tease of Professor X later in the season where I was like, okay, you got me. And I'm like, we're back to this now. I'm back on the acid trip again. What the fuck is going on right now? I thought we were getting to normalized X-Men stuff.
All right. I you know what? I'm definitely going to check that out based on your recommendation because it sounds like it's like if I was going to do an SAT thing, it's like Legion is to X-Men as Twin Peaks is to like something like Law and Order. Like it sounds like it's X-Men on acid.
Kind of, yes. Even Rick was like, all right, that show's out there, dude. Like, what are you doing? I'm curious to see what your take on it is. But, yeah, she's back in. She's actually, like, in the MCU proper now. So that's pretty cool that we got her.
I'm here for it.
Netflix finally approved Sandman Season 2. They finally announced that it was greenlit. So that's information we were waiting on since we reviewed it.
Yes, and rightfully so. That should have been greenlit. That was quality from top to bottom. Like literally, when I have time, which when my son goes to school, I guess, like in a couple of years, and I can start doing stuff again. But I do want to read that Sandman run, like based on watching that show. So it definitely should have gotten second season, and I'm happy to hear we get to review more of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I was just waiting, and I'm like, hopefully this isn't something where Netflix drops the ball because they love canceling shit. It
Yes.
seems like prematurely. So, all right. Well, those are two quick things we wanted to talk about since it dropped like just within an hour or two before our show. But let's get to our shows of the week, and starting off is Stargirl season 3, episode 8.
Yeah. Infinity Part 2.
Yes, I know. Very nice wordplay on the titles there.
Yeah.
With Stargirl.
Yeah, I do enjoy this show. All right, so this I'm gonna say off the top, this was not the best episode of the season. I think I had some issues with it. I thought it was good overall, but I think our A and B plots, we have A and B plots that kind of abandon stuff that was set up in the last episode of this two-parter. Like we never get back to the town or anything like that, or really see what's going on with Our Man or that. But what we do get is pretty good. We get so A and B plots here. A plot is, I guess I would say the A plot actually is Pat and the Shade in the Shadowlands.
Yes, and that was actually really interesting because I feel like we've never, up until now, we haven't gotten much of Pat's backstory outside of him being Stripesy and a sidekick. Now we get to meet his father.
Agreed. Which I love that. I there's a lot of a lot of what I love about this episode is in the Shadowlands. Like we get to explore the Shade's backstory and Pat's, which are two people who are kind of similar in a way that they both pretend nothing bothers them, and they're both fucking lying, you know? And this episode kind of proves it because the Shade literally is like, follow me, you dolt. I'll get us through this. Don't react to anything you see. It's all the shadows and the specters that are coming to get you because you're weak and stupid. And the first thing that happens is they run into his regret about not going and seeing his dying sister, which he eventually admits is because he doesn't feel. He can't feel. He won't let it happen. So I thought that was cool. And then we get Pat having to confront his abusive father, which I think the best part of that, the best scene in this is when his father just starts unloading on him when he walks in, his father's fixing the car and he starts like, don't be useless, get that wrench. And then it's like, it just evolves into, you were supposed to fix my marriage and you made my wife hate me and you've never been good. And he says all these terrible things. And the Shade says to Pat, and this is my favorite Pat moment of the series so far. So it's a give and take episode, but Pat's like, the Shade says, no, they lie to you. They, don't believe them. And Pat goes, no, he said every word of that when he was alive.
Yeah, pretty much calling bullshit on the Shade. Who the Shade seemed like he was trying to convince himself that the Shadowland was lying. Meanwhile, not necessarily.
Not at all. And I think the best parts of this episode are in the Shadowland with the Shade and Pat exploring that. Especially Pat exploring his fear that he's a bad father.
Yeah, kind of maybe like an imposter syndrome type of thing maybe he has going on there with his son, and like his son is screaming for attention, like, like I'm gonna end up just like you. It's gonna be a cycle where you're gonna forget about me and then I'm gonna hate you one day and stuff like that. I guess that's Pat's worst fear, is to essentially become his father.
Exactly. And I again, another great line is when the Shadowlands version of his son goes, I'm gonna hate you just like you hate your father. And only Luke Wilson could pull this off because Luke Wilson's always just so neutral. But he's just like, I don't hate my father. So I think the best parts of this are in the Shadowland. I think they kind of cop out a bit on how to get out of the Shadowland. Like Pat, like the Shade keeps saying we have to run, and Pat says we have to face it. And like obviously, we've talked about this as an exploration of trauma, right? You run from your trauma, it makes it worse. You face it, it sucks for a bit, but you get through it. But like, they don't actually face it. Like the way that they get out is they kick down the door and jump out before they actually have to face it. And I think that's what sat wrong with me, because they set up something so poetic when it comes to narrative. Like you've literally got to face this to get through it. And they kind of cop out at the end, and it's like, no, Green Lantern's got a ring back. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's kick through this door, and it hurts, but we're good.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can see that point.
Yeah, so I think, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I hold this show to a higher standard because it's always so consistently well written.
Mhm.
So, maybe when I said that it wasn't such a good episode in the beginning, I was being a bit harsh because I think it is a good episode now that I'm talking about it. But really, it dropped the ball on that ending. I think it could have been something really, really powerful, and it felt like a cop out.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then we get the stuff in real life, which is Courtney, which I actually really dug this because it's Courtney having to figure shit out as Courtney, not Stargirl. There's no staff. And so what happens is the brother, God, I forgot his name. I'm so bad with names, but Green Lantern's brother turns into a big shadow monster, and they're almost about to collide, and it blows up, and that's how the last episode ended. But Courtney wakes up locked in an office, and Green Lantern's daughter, or I'm just going to call her Green Lantern because she's got the ring, wakes up in a cell.
I have a question about this, by the way, and I don't know if
Yes.
I had a question if I brought this up to you when we went over we were discussing season 2. So Green Lantern's daughter has the ring. Okay, fine. And I believe it was this is Scott's daughter. So how did the ring usually chooses who it goes to? So the ring shows the daughter, or does she have this ring simply because she's Green Lantern's daughter? That's one thing they've never truly covered. And to my knowledge of Green Lantern, and I'm not going to act like I'm a Green Lantern expert, but usually when a person dies or whoever has it, a ring will find another and will choose another person.
Yeah, I mean, it's waving the hand.
Thank you. Okay, because I can't be the only one who was kind of wondering about this.
It doesn't I guess I didn't even question it because I don't know JSA rules. I don't know these characters. Even the Flash, Jay Garrick Flash, I know him from the show. I don't really know these characters, so I kind of just assume that different rules. But if we're going by Hal Jordan Green Lantern rules, I don't know, the Jon Stewart one I watched last night, literally someone from the farthest reaches of the galaxy gave their life to get that fucking ring in his hand. I can't imagine the Guardians would just leave it in a box in Pat's house for years.
And that's what I'm saying. That's been one thing that's been bugging me about this show. As soon as they introduced the Green Lantern, because when I saw that they were going to introduce Green Lantern going into last season, I was like, "Oh, all right, cool, we're going to get something." It just hasn't jived with me about the kid having it. Because they really haven't covered why or how.
And also this episode muddies that up because they make it clear that her brother got a different set of shadow powers.
Yeah.
And if the power comes from the ring, not the person, why would the son have anything?
Yeah. It's like Darkest Day just went to him, and then brightest, yeah.
So I'm gonna say that part doesn't make sense to me, and to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the Green Lantern's daughter. I guess for your reasons as well as I don't know, she seems a bit too overpowered to be in this universe for me. Stargirl should be the apex of power, not someone that's gonna just kind of show up here and there. But yeah, I agree. It's weird, and so she wakes up in a cell, and nothing's working. Her powers aren't working. They've got her in there, and the whole question of the episode is Mr. Bones. I know his name now, Mr. Bones. Actually, and if you actually show people my name, it is Mr. Bones today, as you know it would be.
Boom,
Mr. Bones, and Nurse Love, which is also an awesome name. The question is, are they good or bad? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And Courtney jumps to something which I don't understand.
Okay.
When she kind of starts looking at the cameras and goes, "You've been watching us the whole time in my town that you have no idea." But it's Courtney, they didn't know you were coming.
Yeah.
And the Shade just brought you here. They have cameras because it's a facility.
Yeah, there are other people who have security cameras besides whoever is watching you guys. Which, by the way, we still don't know
We don't.
We
And how many
still
episodes
don't
we
know
have
what
left?
it is.
We only have like 3 episodes left, right?
It's got to be like, I don't know. We've got to be at the midway point or close. I mean, so they said December 7th. So we have to have about 4 or 5 episodes left.
All right. Well, they're gonna have to show it soon.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to get that reveal towards the end of it. Like I thought it was leading towards that, but no. Then it was another Inspector Gadget, Dr. Claw
Yes.
thing at the end, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's just tell us who it is, motherfuckers.
I need to know.
But so she starts unloading on this camera, like you've been watching us this and that, and then Mr. Bones comes out, and I guess another reason I wasn't so impressed by parts of this episode is because I kind of figured that Helix were the good guys, like they didn't strike me as villainous, like.
No, you did. By the way, no, you wouldn't actually know this. We got a version of Helix in the Arrowverse previously.
Oh, we did. Okay, because I fell off on that show.
In Arrow, later seasons of Arrow, there was Helix as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, so I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, no, it just dawned to me. This episode, I was like, wait, Helix. Where's that happened? And I'm like, yep, that was in Arrow in the later seasons.
That's also that kind of makes it even worse than if you follow this stuff more than me, you would know that they're not bad guys. So
no, that Helix was bad.
Oh, that Helix was bad.
No, that Helix was bad. So
withdrawn.
No, they did the right thing with it, and it's a different universe, so you can reuse shit.
Yeah. Cool, withdrawn. I didn't know if it was a comic book set thing. I thought it was set for okay. But then Mr. Bones comes out and talks with Courtney, and it's actually a great scene. Like for all the jokes I'm making about Mr. Bones, like they did a great job, and that actor did a great job of giving this monologue about how he was experimented on the womb and he came out with cyanide touch, and like his superpower is to kill anything he touches and look horrifying.
I didn't know his skin was translucent either.
I didn't either. And then Courtney's like, I love that Courtney's like, if you came here to scare me, it's not going to work. And he's like, I can't help that my appearance is scary. This is what's been done to me. And she feels like shit at the end. And then so she convinces Mr. Bones, the obvious good guy, to reunite the Wonder Green Lantern twins, because she thinks that one will heal the other and it'll be able to fix the A plot that's going on, and she's right, and that happens, and that's a cool moment. And then she tried, like at the end, everyone's happy. Pat's back. Pat convinces / guilts the Shade to take in the children of the JSA members that Pat tells him, you didn't murder them. You are complicit in their murder. You are an accessory. You helped. Like he hammers it in.
No, he does. And he's like, you made them all orphans and shit like that. I was like, damn, Pat.
Yeah.
Woo.
I love that. I love seeing that, Pat, and him just like, you talk about redemption, but you gotta walk the walk. And Shade's like, you can just see him like, fuck, all right. And he even says like, okay, if you don't want my help, that's fine. I offered it though, Pat. I offered it. And then so he kind of takes the Green Lantern twins. Courtney tries to dress down Nurse Love, like, it's wrong what you're doing here. And Green Lantern's brother goes, nah, I could have left at any time. They're not doing anything wrong. Leave them alone.
Yeah. So, in some ways, they kind of are the Xavier School of this Earth.
That's exactly it. We leave them, and Mr. Bones himself teases a show that will never be because they're killing all of these superhero shows. But he goes, maybe we should form a team of our own. It's like, oh, I could have Mr. Bones as Professor X, and you're not going to give this to me?
In my heart, I did hear it.
Right? But yeah, I thought it was a good episode. I think it's a mixed episode because I think it has really good highs, but like its lows are really kind of like I don't see the jump on some of these things. So overall, maybe just a medium episode if you average it out. But I am going to call out that one of my favorite relationships in any media, any television series is Courtney and Pat.
Yeah, it's really
because
good.
they've come so far and they've grown so much, and that it ends with Pat really thinking about what happened in the Shadowlands, and Courtney knows what that's like, and they're on a bus together going home, and Courtney's just like, if you need to talk about it, I'm here for you. And Pat goes, thank you. And I don't know, it's something in that understatedness of like, we understand each other and we've gotten so close, like he is her father, it's just beautiful to me. And so I want to leave, as I always leave this show, talking really good things, because I think it's a great show. And Ed, you got to break some news to people who don't know yet.
Yeah, if you followed our Facebook page or whatever, it came out. I think it was yesterday or the day before that they officially announced that Stargirl is canceled. This will be the last season. The finale will air on December 7th. So that's pretty much that. But it was interesting that Jeff Johns had came out, though, in the article and says that he was thanking everybody in the usual. But he also said that they did write this season with a finale in mind.
Okay.
Where it was a satisfied ending for the show. So I think that's interesting, to see. All right, now I'm like, all right, if you guys had the foresight, because he said that they honestly had a feeling it was coming after the the merger and stuff like that, or acquisition, whatever you want to call it. So it did suck, because we were hoping that this show was going to get saved by HBO Max, but apparently not in the cards. So that kind of sucks. So we're gonna have to savor these last episodes that we get of Stargirl, up until December 7th.
And I just want to say that I'm pissed off about this, because I really do like this show.
Me too.
I really was like, I was gonna come on here saying, like, now that they've introduced this whole, like, Pat's wife was an addict and actually made me think about, like, his past. Like, I want that fucking explored in the next season. And I couldn't say it because it's not going to be a next season. But I want to thank the writers and the showrunners and creators for having the foresight to pull what I would like to call a Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 5 ending, which, for any Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans out there, you will remember that season 5 is when they were leaving one network and going to another. And so they wrote it as an ending, as satisfying, this is an end of the show, with a hook that could be picked up if this move was successful.
Okay.
And they gave us this. They had the foresight to go, this is probably ending. There's going to be some streams, I'm sure, that could be picked up, but they're giving us something satisfying. So at least I have some closure by the end of this. Because again, I would say that this is in my top, I don't know, 3 or 4 favorite of these WB shows, CW shows I've watched.
I'm gonna have to reserve until we see the ending, because I feel like at its height, Arrow, the first 2 seasons of Arrow were phenomenal. Like, I really genuinely still hold those in so high regard, but then the rest of the seasons happened eventually. And that definitely brings it down overall. Same thing with Flash. Flash was phenomenal for a while.
Agreed.
It's overstayed its welcome. Black Lightning was the one that got out at the right time, which we agreed. We thought it could have still kept going, but
it could have had another
season.
But better to end on a high note. Like, I preferred going at, like, I think Stargirl had one more solid season in it before it needed to go. So I'm not even saying that it should have gone on forever. Mm-hmm. But I think 4 seasons is what a show like this should do. And if you look at Arrow and Flash, those first 4 seasons are where it's at, and it starts to degrade after that.
Well, I also think that's a smart thing with Stargirl is that by regular network standards, it's a half a season. Flash and Arrow did like 24 episodes.
That's true.
So maybe if they would have broke those up, they would have had more quality seasons.
Agreed.
Maybe, but of course they gotta. That's when you get filler episodes and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that does drag things down. But it does suck. But hey, screw it. We're gonna enjoy the heck out of the ones that we do got left, because I'm sure that they're gonna end it. I'm very curious to know, after hearing what Jeff Johns said. All right, so you guys, you did write the ending that you wanted, at least. So now I really want to see it. Now it's not just going to be like an abrupt ending where it's just like, oh shit.
Right, like fuck you, network. You couldn't just given me something, but we're gonna get something. So yeah, I'm at least okay with that. But I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give it the Legends of Tomorrow treatment on its last episode, where I kind of give it a eulogy because this show and Legends, I think, are the two shows, and Black Lightning. Those are my three that I'm like, I literally never would have watched if I didn't do this show.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a lot of people who who never give those the time of day. Like I think a lot of people tapped out on Legends after the first season, which you had to kind of get through that one.
It's a weird season, yeah. I tapped out the first season. Like that's when I ended.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. And Black Lightning, I just think some people just never gave a chance to begin with.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it because I had stopped going CW. But the thing is, the three that I was forced to watch for this show were the three that became my favorite. So yeah, I'm gonna miss it.
No, I am too. I definitely am too. So that after this Stargirl's done, we're left with the last season of Flash, which I believe is the half season. We'll still have Superman and Lois. That's
going to be a slog, my friend. That's going to be a slog.
It is. I'm hoping they just go out guns blazing, but we'll see. Yeah. We hope for the same for Supergirl, and that didn't happen.
And look, you know what Supergirl didn't do is they didn't put I don't what's the guy like Cheeto the bartender Ice Girls like they didn't put him on the main cast. It's like come on. And I gave that show a lot of leeway. You lay Chester on me, which I like Chester, right? But you take away God, I forget the guy's name. Cisco. You take away Cisco, who's like one of the most charming person on that show. Like, okay, I'll accept this. I like what you're trying to do here. You're trying something, but like, I don't know. You're gonna give me bartender guy? Get the frick out of here.
Yeah, he sucks. I'm really genuinely nervous for Superman and Lois now. No matter how good the next season is, and how revered the first season, the two seasons are, it seems like it doesn't matter.
And what it makes me a bit more nervous too is the change in cast we're gonna get. Not that that's a huge thing, but it throws a vibe off, you know. So if it loses even a small amount of audience because of that cast change, because they go, oh, I can't accept this, because that happens, right? Yeah. Like, maybe they put the axe on it because they're looking to cancel these shows now.
Yeah, there's that, and then I don't know how the hell we still have Gotham Knights that's getting made. I really don't know how that's.
And that's a CW thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know how that isn't dead on arrival.
Like, guys, how are we losing Stargirl and getting Gotham Knights? Another Batman show without Batman. How many Batman shows do we need without Batman?
Yeah, I would assume somebody would learn their lesson by now, but apparently not. Whatever. We'll get to that if it ever gets here. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure we'll go in with an open mind, but
yeah, of course. But
it's gonna be rough.
I'm gonna spit if it sucks. I'm gonna Stargirl. How dare you take it from me and give me this? But if it's good, I'll tell you I'm wrong.
Why not? We want to be wrong. Like we said, right? We want to like everything we're watching, but
I always want to like everything I watch. That's why I like bad movies, because when I was a kid, that was what was on cable, and I wanted to like what I watched, so I just adapted.
And I will tell you right now, I had a surprise for you for the opening of our show. If we would have done the show on Halloween.
Oh, okay.
But it just didn't add up. It didn't jive. Yeah, we would have kept it going. So I'll tell you later on what that was. But it was a special opening that we were going to do.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to finding out what this is.
All right, so let's get to it. We did cover 2 movies this week. We went the animated route because we were inspired by Black Adam. So we decided to take a look at his one of his animated adventures, Superman SHAZAM: The Return of Black Adam, which you can find on HBO Max now. This one's a bit of an older one now. So as the thing, this is by DC Showcase, which this is the title that's there, but it's not what you get exactly. Or you do get it, and 3 more stories on top of that, which is weird.
It kind of just felt like I was watching Saturday morning cartoons as curated by DC.
Kind of, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
It's 4 like 20-minute animated shorts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Black Adam, the Superman Shazam Return of Black Adam does get like almost half the runtime, and then the others are very short. So we get this story, we get Spectre, which I thought was actually kind of cool, and I want to talk about that when we get to that in a second.
You know that's my favorite. You know.
Oh no, I know for a fact that's your favorite, and I think what I'm gonna pitch to you for a live action version of that, you're gonna fucking adore. Because that's exactly what I was thinking. The third one is a Green Arrow story, which was pretty cool. Then the fourth one was Jonah Hex in a very weird story.
Jonah Hex, which I gotta share, this is a character I want to like so badly. I just don't. Like, I didn't like this. I didn't like him here, like in this story. The only time I've ever seen him where I'm like, I'm okay with him is in that Batman the Animated Series episode that is just the Jonah Hex backdoor pilot where Ra's al Ghul is in the Old West. And I only kind of barely like him there. And then that movie I've never seen, but like he's a character that I'm like, oh, he's a superhero in the Old West. This should be awesome. And every time I watch, I'm like, this is so boring.
Yeah, I didn't mind him on Legends. I thought he was kind of cool on Legends, but
he's
great.
On Legends?
Yeah, he's on Legends. He's on a couple of seasons of Legends.
Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex is in Legends, man. He really is.
I don't remember that. Like, in all fairness, I did watch a great deal of that show.
You crammed it. You crammed it. So
you lose stuff.
Jonah Hex is in Legends, and he's pretty solid in that. I don't know if he was on Flash as well or not. I know he was 100% on Legends for like probably like 5 or 6 episodes over the seasons. I think he was in.
And I guess it's got to be the season where they're actually in the Old West for a couple episodes. But
he's definitely not.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? That should even go to show you something. The fact that Legends, which is a show I freaking love, a show that like has made me aware of characters I wasn't aware of that I now really like, and I forgot that Jonah Hex was even remotely on that show. That's got to say something about like just how blah I find Jonah Hex.
You have a mental block against Jonah Hex. That's what it is. You just want him to disappear. Well,
I do.
Well, sooner or later, we're going to find an excuse to cover that movie, and we're going to go through it, my friend.
I'm here for it, man. I'm not going to lie. I know it's going to be terrible, and I'm going to be bored, but I'm still curious. It's still like, again, I want to like this character. I should like this character. I just can't.
But all right, let's get to the title story that's here. Jerry O'Connell is in it as well. He's in it as Shazam. So we pretty much get a Black Adam and Shazam origin story with Superman thrown into the middle of it, essentially.
Yes.
It works for me. I thought it was pretty cool. It's a shortened version. I think they use this DC showcase to plus they put the big names on the marquee was to draw you in, because I feel like this was DC trying to introduce fans to random new obscure characters that they never would have bothered with otherwise. So I thought it was a sneaky way to do it, but effective way to do it, because I watched it, and this isn't the first time I've watched it more than once. And we'll get into where we've seen these characters in live action, because we've seen them all in live action at this point. This is an older film, but for the Superman Shazam thing, it worked for me. Like you had mentioned, I think last week when we were talking about Black Adam, like the film. This Black Adam wants to kill Billy Batson because he's marked. It's almost like he's Harry Potter. He was marked by the wizard.
You're marked by the wizard, Hattie.
So, and he says that's one of his lines. And there is a pretty cool battle where they throw down, and we find out Superman is, he's magic can fuck him up, and I always wondered if that means a card trick, and like, do I beat Superman with a card trick or not? Like, I don't know. Like, hey, Superman's a quarter binder here, and I can't know what to do.
I would love a character as overpowered as Superman, where his only weakness was sleight of hand.
Yes. Just like a hat shuffle or something like that.
Superman, let me go if you can't find the dollar underneath these eggs, these shells. It's like, oh, sleight of hand. I can't do this. I've got to let you go.
But yeah, I don't know. I think this works. I mean, if you were looking for an introduction to these characters for Shazam and Black Adam, definitely worth checking out. I mean, it's a very short runtime. This whole thing is like about an hour and 5 minutes, so it's very compact. So if you want to get a taste of like DC characters and origins and just random people you never knew, I would recommend this. I thought it's pretty cool. This is the best of the four, though, I think.
For sure. And I'm going to say this because I told you I came to DC late, right? That's what I was saying before. Back in the bygone days of when we only had 2 streaming services, Netflix and Hulu, and media stores still existed, and some media stores sold used media at cheap prices because you couldn't just stream everything and pay for it. I came across this, and so I briefly owned this. I bought it. It was one of those things where I bought the DVD for like, I don't know, $5, and I was like, it's like a rental from Blockbuster when I was a kid. That's worth it to me, even if I get rid of it, which I did because I was like, I enjoyed this, but I'm not going to watch it again. Wink, wink. Didn't know I was going to do this podcast, but this was my introduction to Shazam and Black Adam, and I agree, it was a good introduction. Like I think that I was way more interested in the Black Adam movie we just got and the Shazam movie because of this, because I kind of got a sense of who these characters were. I think it sets up Billy Batson really well. I like the wizard who's kind of there, like, give me a token, buddy. All right, here's a token to get out of here. And then he's just the guy who's there to punish Black Adam and save Billy Batson at the end. I kind of dug that. It kind of felt like the movie definitely, like the Shazam movie, I think definitely kind of draws from tones from parts of the Billy Batson stuff here for sure.
Yeah.
I like Black Adam. Of course, he's not The Rock and he's not an anti-hero. He's a straight up villain. So it's a bit different, but and Superman was cool. Like, this was kind of like a video game for me. It's like there's some awesome action, which I really enjoyed watching, with minimal story, but really cool characters. And if you like these characters, or if you've never actually interacted with these characters, I think both is a reason to watch this particular episode of these 4 episodes.
Or honestly, even like for children, if you're trying to get like your kid into this type of stuff, and maybe use this as a gateway to get them to watch the movies, because now we have the live action movies to watch, which deep dive way further into their origins. Go ahead, show them this, and I'm sure they'll get into it, and maybe that's their way.
Yeah, for sure.
The second feature focuses on Spectre. Now, it has got cigarette burns and shit like that, and it's very much a grindhouse. So Jason
loved it.
And Alyssa Milano does voice work in this, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. So
I love her so much.
Can we get a live action now, DC Films, under James Gunn now officially? I think this can happen. Can we get Robert Rodriguez or Quentin Tarantino to do a Spectre movie?
Oh.
Yep. I see the light bulb above your head, because that's all I was thinking about while watching.
Oh my God, yes. I love Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is one of those celebrities that he's gonna have to do some awful, awful shit for me to like cancel him in my heart. He's gonna have to do like Bill Cosby level shit,
Wow. Okay.
It's got to be bad, because I love that. I love his work. I don't say I love the man. I don't know the man. I love.
Me too. I love his work also. I'm right there with you.
And now that you've said Quentin Tarantino should give us a Spectre, that's all I want. I want so bad. Like, you're right, the cigarette burns and even like the film noir version of it, and just how there's also like an exploitation feel to it, like those 70s movies, and the whole thing, guys, the whole plot of that is a cop who is the Spectre, who uses his badge to hunt down criminals and punish them for their crimes. It's so simple and it's great. And wow, you're right. You dropped a bomb that I'm like, I want this now. I want to go to the multiverse where Quentin Tarantino has given us the Spectre.
I'm just saying, like, I know he does his own movies and stuff like that. Like, he has to does his own shit from scratch. Okay, fine, whatever. So maybe I admit that's a reach.
But he's given us a Star Trek movie. I think he's confirmed this, right? Like, he wants
I don't know
to
if
do
that's
a Star
still
Trek.
happening. Yeah, no, he wants to do it, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen.
All right, fair enough. But he wants to do it, which means he's willing to work in Franchise Town.
Oh my God, him? Or again, if you can't get him, I'm sure you can get Robert Rodriguez then.
I'll take Robert Rodriguez. He does a hell of a stand-up, like, movie like this. But I don't know. Like, for me,
no, I know. I mentioned the name, so I admit that's who I would want. If I was James Gunn, if you ever get a whiff of this somehow, that you need to pitch that, or you just tell him, hey, do a Spectre movie, and I'm sure he'll fucking run with it. He'll write his own movie and blah blah blah. You could even say it doesn't have to be connected to the DCU. Who cares? It could be its own standalone movie.
You know who I think would have been a good Spectre if he was younger and not as crazy?
Oh.
What's his face from James Woods?
Yes, I like that. I like that.
I could see like him in the 80s, 90s as this character. I don't know. That's what I saw. So now, God, now I want Quentin Tarantino and young James Woods to this movie. I know that's impossible, but now my mind's going.
Yeah, I mean, it would be phenomenal. Or, I mean, whatever. Maybe even get, like, if it's Quentin Tarantino, maybe he goes back to, like, DiCaprio and let him do his superhero movie as a Spectre.
Oh, that'd be great. Actually, I mean, DiCaprio can do anything. Like
DiCaprio now, I think he would probably be on board with it.
No. I don't mean he would do anything. Yeah. I mean he can do anything.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I didn't like. There was a period of time where I couldn't stand him, but over time he won me over. So
look, none of us liked him when we were all his age and not as good looking as him, and he was in movies and we were not. Exactly. We all hated them. Then Romeo and Juliet, fuck you, Caprio. Oh, Titanic, boo hoo hoo. But now when you look at his work, it's like, now this guy can really act. We kind of were all just hating on him.
Of course, he was supposed to be Peter Parker in the James Cameron Spider-Man. That never happened.
What?
Yep.
See, literally, guys, if I had the power to travel from multiverse to multiverse, I would just watch these movies.
I'm sure there's one where James Cameron actually did Spider-Man. And
no, there's a multiverse for everything. It's the beauty of the theory. There is one where James Cameron did Spider-Man with Leonardo DiCaprio as Peter Parker, and goddamn, I want that movie right now.
So that is what I was thinking about during this entire Spectre part of this. And also, for those who remember, Oliver Queen became the Spectre later on in Crisis on Infinite Earths on DC. In the CW verse, which was not this version of the Spectre at all.
That's right.
It's not connected. It was a kind of goofy, stupid way to end it. I didn't like it, but this was cool. And this pitch of the Spectre, I actually have a Funko Pop somewhere in there of the Spectre as well. So
that's cool.
The third one is Green Arrow. Well, it's a Green Arrow adventure. He's fighting Merlin. He's fighting Count Vertigo. Again, just an introduction thing. I think you hit on all the two main villains with it. Mm-hmm. We get a Black Canary appearance, which is cool because that's essential to Green Arrow. And voicing Green Arrow, ironically, is Neil McDonough, who he is in. He's Damien Dark in Legends.
Oh, that was Damien Dark.
Yeah, who's originally an Arrow villain. In the CW verse.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't recognize his voice.
So I thought that was a pretty cool tie. It's a cool little adventure. That's probably, I don't know. It probably goes in order. I think for me, Superman, Shazam, then Spectre. The Spectre one was cool also because I was daydreaming about what a live action Quentin Tarantino version would be. So maybe I made it better than it even was.
Well, I mean, I go Spectre, Superman.
Okay, so fine.
Yeah. But this is fun. Like it's them like trying to catch a plane, right? Like, that's pretty much the plot.
Yeah, essentially he's saving someone's daughter, like a rich daughter, at an airport, and that's where it all takes place. And Merlin and him have this Arrow face off, and he takes him down. He takes down Count Vertigo, which in this is Count Vertigo, the legit one. But then on the Arrowverse, I actually like what they did with Vertigo, and they made him like a drug dealer, and it was hallucinogens and stuff. So that made sense. And that was the darker, grounded Arrowverse. So I thought that was cool. And then the last one was Jonah Hex, which you had mentioned before. It's kind of like the shortest one, lamest one, but the voice work. Thomas Jane voices Jonah Hex, and Linda Hamilton is the random, fake prostitute at the time who's murdering people. Yeah, the one woman. So I thought overall pretty cool. Again, if you want to just get like the flavor of some DC characters, I would. That's why I would recommend this thing.
Yeah,
the title very deceiving though.
100% agree. Like it's a good flavor. Like I think 3 out of 4 of them are worth watching. You could even skip the Jonah Hex one. I would say I don't.
Yeah, it's not great.
Like if you really want to get a good sense, a positive sense of the Jonah Hex character, watch that last season episode of Batman the Animated Series. I think it's a better portrayal of him and gives you better insight into him. But I think, this was my Superman, Shazam, and Spectre introduction. And I knew about Green Arrow, but this is fun. His story is a lot of fun. That character is a lot of fun. So, it's a lot of fun. Go see it.
Yeah, check it out. It's on HBO Max. That's where we saw it. So, other thing we saw on HBO Max, though, that actually released, it's only a year old, is Justice Society World War II, which, again, we were like, hey, Justice Society makes their DCEU, or now called DC Universe. Sorry, it's been rebranded as DC Universe now.
So it's the Snyderverse is dead.
Whatever. It's absorbed into it. Whatever the hell, man.
I just know that pisses you off.
It just so drives me nuts. Oh, we're not using the Snyderverse. Okay, yes, you are. This one was, and I've spoken very highly of a lot of DC animated films because I feel like they're very, very strong. I didn't love this one. I thought it was okay. Even maybe a little subpar for them at least.
I had a roller coaster last night when I was watching this.
Okay.
And he was my roller coaster, 2 nights ago. First half of the movie, literally everything with the Nazis in it, I'm in. I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is a Flash story. All right. Wait, this is a Flash going back in time, alternate dimension story? What? Like the Vince McMahon levels, like, huh? Wait, him and Jay Garrett are going to share the Speed Force? Like, they're fighting Nazis? Wait, Dr. Fate is a Nazi captive and it's going to break a code? But literally everything after that falls apart for me. Like, as soon as we forget that the Nazis are a thing, and we go to Atlantis, and it becomes a big Atlantean battle, and it becomes like a fish monster battle in New York. It's like, guys, what? Did you forget the premise of your own fucking movie?
Yeah, this is definitely like this thing is more revisionist history of World War II, I feel like, than Inglourious Bastards was.
For sure. But in all fairness, yes, it was. And not as well written. But
no.
They did say it was an alternate universe.
Yes,
it was a
multiverse. They did. Fair enough.
I do want to be fair to that. Like, my issue isn't with the history. My issue is this movie forgets that they're fighting Nazis. And unlike World War II, when the Nazis disappeared, things got worse.
Yep. So, and don't get me wrong. I did not go into this expecting historical accuracy. That's not what I'm...
Yeah, no.
I'm shooting for.
Of course. I just wanted to be clear that like that wasn't my gripe. It was just where did the Atlanteans come from? Where did this whole brainwashing thing come from? Who is this mysterious guy that's never explained that shows up and like brainwashes everyone and is a Nazi and then escapes at the end? Like none of the last half of this movie makes sense to me.
No, he never gets a name. He's just called. I forgot what they gave him the title in the credits. I don't know what it was. It was influencer or some shit like that. It's not even like a real DC villain that's brainwashing Aquaman to pretty much help the Nazis and then take out like pretty much the Earth dwellers to go ahead and to battle each other. So then the Atlanteans can take over the planet. Like that's their grand scheme. And I thought it was interesting what they did with the Justice Society because Wonder Woman is the leader of the Justice Society in this. They give her an accent, I guess, I kind of just felt like it was to further fortify Gal Gadot.
Same here.
Because there's a lot of her battles early on are very inspired by the first Wonder Woman film.
100%. And I want to say that it was weird that the Flash didn't recognize Wonder Woman.
Yes. So in the future, is there no Wonder Woman?
Right.
Or something?
That was my question. Because he comes back and is like, "Who are you? Why are you messing with me?" It's like, not your Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like,
Should be a Wonder Woman.
if you know what a Wonder Woman is, you know this is a Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And the roster we do get Hawkman, who does die, and they do a pretty solid job with explaining his backstory. Which I was actually going to say, they gave his backstory in this and in the first season of Legends. In Black Adam, and I get there's a lot going on, and I know it's not a Justice Society film. They didn't get it. They didn't mention anything about Carter reincarnating or anything like that in the film. So they still got a lot to explore with that. I think that's fine that you could leave it vague for now. But I thought they did a good job with Hawkman. Black Canary is pretty cool in this, but I mean, I'm assuming there's no Green Arrow that she's going to meet up with. Yeah, exactly. So Our Man was pretty cool, even though I'm pretty sure his arrow was up for a while.
Yeah. He was. I mean, he was fine.
Yeah, Jay Garrick was cool. His interactions with Barry Allen were cool.
Jay Garrick is actually my favorite of them. I think the fact that this is a Flash story and Flash gets to interact with Jay Garrick and they get to nerd out and be sciencey together and figure stuff out together, and like even the moment where Steve Trevor is going down, has been shot down, and our Flash is like, oh no, I can save him. I see this, and he starts running, and Jay Garrick is just right up next to him at some point, and they don't trust him at this point. Yeah, but he kind of just like, no, hey, boy. Exactly, a future boy, and he's like, what do you need? And so I think the best part of this is the character work and the interaction between the Flash and Jay Garrick. Yeah. But yeah, like I and actually even I like this Wonder Woman, I like this Hour Man, I like this Black Canary. I thought that Dr. Fate was interesting, but I kind of wanted more. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm really interested in that character and I know nothing about him. But yeah, I think that's the best part of this is watching these characters together. But again, that kind of goes away at the end.
Yeah, and this story picks up where Superman, if you watch the current version of the DC animated films in their universe, Superman Man of Tomorrow, in the beginning of this film, Superman, the one from Man of Tomorrow, is in there, and he's interacting with the Flash for the first time, and then Brainiac is there, tries to shoot him with like a kryptonite bullet, and the Flash tries to speed up, stop him, but then ends up getting pulled in by Dr. Fate into World War II and everything.
Yeah.
And that's how this whole story takes place. Which
is cool. I like that setup.
Yeah, so do I. But if you want to see more of that Superman, I would suggest watching Superman Man of Tomorrow, which is on HBO Max as well. And you get more of that. But dude, when the Flash comes back, he fucking throws the damn kryptonite bullet into Brainiac's fucking head and kills him.
He murders him.
Yes.
And Superman is just like, yo, thanks, bro. I thought you were coming from the other. Like, Superman doesn't care that he literally just shot Brainiac in the head with a kryptonite bullet.
Yeah. I was like, okay, then. That's how we're wrapping that up. So
I do want to point out that I actually like those wraparounds, but was I the only one who got Invincible vibes from the opening scene with Barry Allen at the picnic with Iris, where he's fidgety and keep going? Or like, didn't Invincible parody that?
Possibly.
Like, because there was that scene, like, I remember that first episode because it was traumatizing as hell to watch every one of the not Justice League be murdered by not Superman. But I remember his whole thing was he was at a picnic with his girlfriend and he was so fucking bored because he moves so fast and he's got like, obviously they were playing with the ADHD thing where like, his focus is all over the place. And this is what it kind of felt like, I was like, well, we're here together. I forgot the cheese. I forgot to cut the cheese. I forgot beans. I forgot this. Let me get this. I'm going to go run there. Do you think Superman's going to be here? And it's like, relax, dude. But I don't know. It just seems like, this could have been a nod to Invincible, which was a parody of this, which is a weird, loop.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Was I the only one when they were calling him Future Boy that heard Doc Brown? Future Boy?
Of course not. If you say Future Boy to me, you have to say it as Doc Brown because that is Marty
Future
McFly.
Boy?
Who's the first lady, future boy? Jane Wyman?
Oh man, such a great film. But yeah, this was all right though. Not DC's best animated film, but it's not terrible. But yeah, it just kind of unravels as it goes along, and it turns into a mishmash of insanity until Brainiac gets murdered.
That's it. Yeah, first half is cool character work and kicking Nazi ass, which is always a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
The end is an Atlantean fish gumbo that doesn't make any sense.
That's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, if you were wanted to see more of the characters from Black Adam that we got and we weren't familiar with, check out the 2 DC animated films that we talked about tonight. I mean, it'll give you a little bit more insight. You get to see a little bit more about them. But we also see more of these characters on Stargirl with Hourman and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. But, all right. So that pretty much wraps it up for us this week. Thanks for joining us. As always, if you're joining us on Facebook live stream, you can go ahead and join the Granny's Peach Tea Facebook group where we get a bunch of trailers and stories that don't make the show and join the daily conversation. Also, check out popculturepros.com because that's who we're going ahead and that's our mothership. That's who we're presented by. So check that out on Facebook as well as the actual website. Check out if you're checking us out on YouTube, Pop Culture Pros. Hit subscribe. Twitter, give us a follow at Pop Culture Pros, and Instagram at Pop Culture Pros. And wherever you found your audio only podcast, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. We got a bunch of cool stuff from baseball to football. You know, there's Disney parks. There's James Bond 00 Deep Dive that's there. You know, we got it all. So go ahead and check all of that cool stuff out. We will be back next week. We'll be talking about the latest episode of Stargirl. We will be talking about the season premiere of Titans, season 4.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
That is on tomorrow night. So that drops tomorrow, actually. So
all right. That's exciting. I'm going to watch that right away.
Titans are back, bitches.
That's right.
And then we'll be talking about the original, the first Black Panther, because the week after that, we will be talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So,
yes, we will.
We got some good stuff coming up. So, we'll see you soon. All right. Peace.
Wakanda Forever.